Alright, welcome back. Today we've got 4 stories, and I'll be honest with you, every single one of them should be getting more airtime than it is. Let's first, Starmer. He's not resigning. He says he's staying. But before you switch off because you think this is just more boring Westminster stuff, I want you to understand what's actually happening, because it is remarkable. Story 1, Labour's open revolt. Let me set the scene. Labour won a landslide less than 2 years ago. They were going to fix the NHS, fix the economy, restore trust in government. That was the pitch. Fast forward to today, they've just had their worst local election results in living memory. Over 30 councils gone, 1,500 councillors wiped out, by Reform, by the Lib Dems, by independents. People who voted Labour their whole lives just didn't bother. And now 95 of their own MPs have gone public and said, Keir Starmer has to go. Not opposition MPs trying to score points. His own people, colleagues, people who campaigned for him. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, resigned. Jess Phillips resigned. 4 cabinet ministers reportedly went to Starmer privately and told him it's over. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper. These are serious people, not backbenchers throwing tantrums. And Starmer's response. He says replacing him would cause, and I'm quoting, chaos. That's the argument. No new plan, no accountability, no acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, the voters who are abandoning Labour in their millions might have a point. Just chaos. Now look, I'm not telling you that whoever replaces him would be better. Andy Burnham, Wes Streeting, Yvette Cooper, none of them are going to fundamentally change what Labour is doing. But what I am saying is this government is finished in all but name, and the media keeps treating it like a normal Westminster story when it's actually the collapse of public trust in a government that promised everything and delivered almost nothing. Right, moving on, and this one needs to be talked about far more than it is. Story 2, the Mandelson scandal. Peter Mandelson, UK Ambassador to the United States. One of the most important diplomatic roles in British government. He failed his security vetting. January 28, 2025. UK security vetting, the people whose literal job is to decide who's safe to handle state secrets, said no. Do not grant this man clearance. Formally denied. 2 days later, the Foreign Office overruled them. Exercised a rare authority to override the intelligence service's decision. And Mandelson went to Washington. Now, why might there have been concern? Well, the Epstein files. Because those files show payments of approximately £55,000 going to Mandelson or his partner between 2003 and 2004. Emails in the files suggest he was sharing sensitive UK government information with Jeffrey Epstein during the 2008 financial crisis. That's the allegations. That's what's on record. And Keir Starmer, who personally championed Mandelson for this role, says he wasn't told. Wasn't told that his hand-picked ambassador to America had failed the security check. Wasn't told. I'll leave you to make your own mind up about whether that's credible. But I'll say this, if you or I failed a security vetting check for a sensitive government job, we'd be quietly removed. We'd hear nothing more about it. We wouldn't be made ambassador to America. The rules, it seems, apply differently when you're well connected enough. Story number 3, and this one is about something that affects real people in their homes. Story 3, South East Water. For months, November to January, thousands of people in Kent and Sussex couldn't turn on the taps. No water. In England, in 2026, for months, South East Water is a privatised utility. It takes bills from hundreds of thousands of customers. It's supposed to provide a basic service. It failed, repeatedly, catastrophically, across multiple outages. Parliament's Environment Committee dragged the company's bosses in front of them, twice, and this week they released their report. The verdict, they have no confidence, those are the official words, no confidence in the leadership. They said the company showed incompetence and lack of accountability, and that its governance had failed to hold senior employees responsible. And so this week, the chair resigned. The CEO announced he's going too. But here's the thing I want you to notice. They only resigned because Parliament publicly humiliated them. Before that, nothing. Months of people without water. Bills still going out. And the leadership sat there. No accountability, no consequences, until MPs made it politically impossible to stay. This is what water privatization looks like up close. The profits go to shareholders. The risk stays with you. And when it goes catastrophically wrong, accountability only arrives when someone forces it, and even then it takes the better part of a year. Alright, last story, and this one's global. Story 4, Trump indicts Raul Castro. The United States Department of Justice has indicted Raul Castro, former president of Cuba, brother of Fidel, charged with murder. This goes back to 1996. Cuban military aircraft shot down 2 civilian planes belonging to a Cuban-American group called Brothers to the Rescue. 4 people were killed, 3 of them American citizens. Federal prosecutors in Miami had been building a case since the 1990s. 30 years in the making. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announced the charges this week: 4 counts of murder, conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals. Historic doesn't begin to cover it. This is a former head of state being charged with murder by the United States government. Protests are erupting in Havana, and analysts are saying Trump is doing what he did with Venezuela's Maduro, using criminal indictments as geopolitical leverage. Not necessarily to get Castro in a U.S. courtroom, but to apply maximum pressure on the Cuban regime. This is a massive story, and it is barely registering on UK news. I don't know about you, but I think when a former world leader gets charged with murder, that's worth more than a 30-second mention. Right, that's your 4 stories for today. Starmer's collapsing government, the Mandelson security clearance scandal that nobody wants to talk about properly, privatized water failing thousands of people with zero accountability until Parliament stepped in, and Trump going nuclear on Cuba. Drop a comment below on which one you think is getting the least coverage it deserves. Like the video if you found it useful, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you tomorrow.